Hey Taylor, I hope your soccer game has gone well today. So I wanted to take a real quick moment to review exponents before you move on to us looking at how to solve fractional exponents. So just as a real quick review, let's talk about what an exponent is. An exponent is like a cheater's code in playing a video game. It allows you to do something a little faster than normal. So what happens is sometimes when we're doing order of operations, we may have a string of numbers that are the same, and we may want to condense that and make it smaller. So we call that exponential form. And what we have is we have what's called the base number, and that's the number that repeats. So it's kind of like a pirate if you look at it as like a person. So this is our base number, and this is it's a repeating number. What we then do for the exponent, or you might have you may have heard it called a power, is we count how many are there. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So our exponent base would be 2, and our exponent power exponent would be 4. So this would be exponential form, and this would be product form. Now I have a little tip for you that I kind of really pushed my kids when I taught math to follow. And we always use a dot when we put out a string of numbers for product form, because we know that an x can be a variable. And if I have 2x, 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 well, I could come in later when we talk about expressions, and that x could stand for 4. So really I have 2 times 4 times 2 times 4. So it's just a lot easier, and it saves you a little hassle if you just put the dot. Now, what I want to do is I want to talk about how do you solve that. So if I get this problem here, I want to take and string it out to help me solve it. So I have 2, I'm drawing a different type of 2, oh my goodness, times 2 times 2 times 2. So the way that I always did this as a kid is I would put parentheses around it so it would make it easier for me to solve. So I know if I do order of operations, parentheses come first. I always read left to right. So 2 times 2 would become 4, and then I bring down my sign, and 2 times 2 would become 4, and 4 times 4 is 16. So let's flip the page and let's do another one. All right, so now we have 3 squared. Now, why did I call that squared? Well, the reason why I called that squared is it has to do with area, okay? And we know area is length times width. So that's a number times a number. Well, when I get squared, which it's the same exact thing as doing a power, I want to expand it out to 3 times 3. I just call it squared because I know 2 numbers multiplied together can equal a square. And I can video a whole lesson on how you could see that with tiles if you want. Just have mom let me know. So 3 times 3, this would be product form. This is exponential form. 3 times 3 would equal 9. Well, now I'm going to come and I'm going to get 4 to the 3rd power, or 4 cubed. Why is that called cubed? Because typically when I multiply 3 numbers together, and this is where I prove that I am not the art teacher Miss Williams is I'm actually looking at volume. And see, all of these things tie together. So I have a height, I have a length, or sorry, this is a width, a height, and then I have a length. My apologies. So what I want to do then is I'm looking at 3 numbers multiplied together. So you may hear it referred to as cubed when it's to the 3rd power. Squared is to the 2nd, cubed is to the 3rd. And it all has to do with this kind of measurement pieces. But what I want to do, same thing, I want to expand it out into product form. And if I look at it, I'm using my dots instead of x's because I want to make sure that I know that this isn't 4 times x times so on. So 4 times 4 is 16. I want to do my grouping again. Then I bring down my 16 times 4. Once again, I like to play with to see if I can challenge myself and do these in my brain. So in my brain, I'm breaking 16 down into 10 times 4 plus 6 times 4. This is also the setup to the distributive property that you'll learn. 10 times 4 is 40, and 6 times 4 is 24, which equals 64. So 16 times 4 equals 64. So those are a couple different ways in which you could understand exponents.